I spent 30 days wearing a weighted vest, and in this episode, I'm going to share with you the mistakes you want to avoid, plus some of the super surprising benefits that have me convinced that rucking, wearing a weighted vest while walking, is the way to go. So let me talk to you about the first 30 days I spent with a walking vest. But before I do that, I want to answer the question, what are some of the benefits? Why do we even need to consider walking with a weighted vest? Well, there are so many well-researched and substantiated reasons why walking with a weighted vest is one of the absolute best things you can do for your health. Now, I know some of you rely on me to do the research for you. You're like, Chalene, you don't even need to tell us about it. I know if you're doing it, you've done your research. But in case you're new here, and in case you really want to feel even more motivated to start using a weighted vest, I think this research is going to seal the deal. I know it did for me. When I first started looking at wearing a weighted vest, it was because I am trying to improve my bone density. At age, I believe it was 47 or 48, when I did a DEXA scan, which is you go into this machine and it measures your body fat as well as your bone density. It was at that time that I was diagnosed with osteopenia. And that is, it's kind of a condition before osteoporosis. It just meant that for some reason, my bones were on the way to becoming very brittle. And so wanting to fix that and not even understand, how could that be possible? I lift heavy weights. I follow all the right dietary recommendations, etc. I thought I was doing everything right, but there is a genetic component to this. And in addition to that, I was deficient in magnesium. So the two things that I started doing at that time was putting weights over my shoulders when I was lifting. So rather than just letting them hang up my sides, I started putting weights on my shoulders so that the weight was on my torso. So it was on my skeletal system. I also started taking supplements that improve bone remodeling, and that includes magnesium and a few others. That's not what this episode's about. It wasn't until a few years after that I started seeing experts talking about the benefits of wearing a weighted vest, specifically for women who are over 45, perimenopausal, menopausal women, to improve bone density. And it wasn't until recently that I finally started getting in the practice of it. And I'm going to link to all of these studies for those of you who are, kind of nerdy like me and you like to see the studies. I'm going to link to them. But there's a preponderance of really great studies that show it decreases a woman's risk of hip fractures and all fractures. So it dramatically improves bone density just wearing a weighted vest. Now, how often and how long? In these studies, it wasn't a very heavy weighted vest, and women weren't wearing it for that long. So for example, in this particular study, women who were postmenopausal wore a weighted vest 3 times a week doing a very short duration workout, and the study concluded a dramatic increase in bone mineral density of the women in this control group who were wearing a weighted vest. And also quite remarkable is that people were they stuck with this. This wasn't something that people did for a short period of time. What they found is that postmenopausal women really liked the way this felt and the improvements that they got. Now, I know you're going to ask me, how heavy were their vests? Well, as I read through that research, the most I could find is that on average, their vests weighed, I think it was 11.1 pounds. So to answer that question for many of you, how heavy should my vest be? That's a great question. And I think it depends less on your weight and your height and more upon your strength, your core strength, and what's comfortable for you. So one of the biggest mistakes that I made was the first vest that I bought. I'm I've got a really strong core, so I'm going to buy the heaviest vest. I'm going to buy myself a 30-pound vest. Well, I quickly sent that 30-pound vest back because I feel like I almost threw my shoulder out trying to get it on my shoulder. I feel like that was way too heavy for me. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. Even just picking up a 30-pound weight, I usually have to use 2 hands. So it was a poor decision on my part to buy a 30-pound vest. I would, number one, always need Brett to help me put it on. And number 2, it was just way too heavy to start. So my recommendation is when you look at these vests, and I'll link to this one on Amazon. This is my favorite one at the moment. Many of the vests on Amazon have a variety of different weights you can choose from. You can get one that's 5 pounds or 8 pounds or 12 pounds or 16, 20, 25, 30. And the vest that you should probably start with, as a general rule of thumb, I think most people can handle 8 pounds. When I returned my 30-pound vest, I got a 12-pound vest. And that's what I did my 30 days of walking with was a 12-pound vest. At the same time, I bought my husband also a 12-pound vest. Now I will say I'm quite ready to move up to the next level. I think I'll probably, if this is 12, I think I'll probably go to 18 pounds next and just see how that feels. So if you have a very weak core, maybe start at 5 pounds. And if you don't want to continually keep moving up and having a heavier vest, well, then you can start by just wearing a backpack and putting some like dried beans or dried rice in the bottom of that bag, which is also known as rucking, a term that the military used, like the ruck pack. And don't worry, I will share with you the link to this vest that I love, but I also want to say that like everybody's different. And the way that it fits you makes a really big difference. Some people find that the vest, when they've tried this vest, it felt too tight across the shoulders or it's not long enough in the back. And so it really does depend on your size. I'll share with you the vest that fits really nicely for my husband. He is 6'1" and I don't know, I think like 200 pounds. And then the one that I wear, I am 5'2" maybe. And I've got a very strong core, but I'm very petite, like especially my upper body. I have like no upper body. I'm like all legs for someone that's 5'2". So this would fit like a child. And so if that's you, then you're going to want this one. But there are different shapes and sizes. Like there's a vest that kind of like it goes around your boobs. This one goes on the outside of them. And so it's really about personal preference. And so take a look at those and don't be afraid to, try it on, see if it works, and return it if it doesn't, because it really does have tremendous benefits. Now, a lot of people wonder if you really need a weighted vest if you're already carrying around extra weight. Like, isn't that significant enough? And I think that's a great question. It's one that I had too. So I took a look at the literature and the research and found that if you're on a weight loss journey, wearing a weighted vest can speed up the process, number one. And number two, this study shows that wearing a weighted vest helps to prevent sarcopenia, which is the loss of muscle. Many people, especially those who are doing a GLP-1, such as Ozempic or Wegovy or another form of weight loss medication, where you're typically losing weight at a rate that's pretty quick and places you at risk of also losing muscle. I mean, we all lose a little bit of muscle when we're in a calorie deficit, unless you're really taking extra measures to improve your musculature. And there have been some great studies, which I will reference here. I'll also put them below in our show notes to support the improvement of musculature, not just in your core, but overall improving your isokinetic strength, which is the strength of your muscles while they're moving, plus overall muscle strength. And in fact, one study, which I will reference below in our show notes, found that older adults wearing a weighted vest in a care facility had improved sit-to-stand strength and overall cardiovascular health. So wearing a weighted vest, even if you're on a weight loss journey, even if you're like, I'm already carrying a lot of weight, why do I also need to wear a weighted vest? Even if you start with a weighted vest as little as 5 pounds, you're going to speed up that process. And here's why. Because when we're wearing a weighted vest, doing anything, whether it's just standing or walking or exercising, we're going to burn more calories. And it puts more strain on the skeletal system. And that might sound like a bad thing, but it's a good thing because the body responds by improving our bone mineral density. So that's how we remodel our bones. That's how we get stronger bones. And it's also how we reduce our risk of having any type of hip fracture or bone fracture. And this is especially important for women as we age, because our bones, especially if you're not supplementing your hormones, if you're not doing any type of testosterone or estrogen hormone therapies, then your bones are naturally going to get weaker. And even if you are doing HRT, you can still improve your bone strength by just wearing a weighted vest. Studies also show that wearing a weighted vest, even just as little as 3 times per week, can improve your VO2 max, balance, and joint stability, which is pretty freaking cool. All right, so let me share with you what my first 30 days look like with the vest. I already told you that the first vest that I bought was way too heavy. The second vest that I bought was just too big. It just didn't fit me right. It hung down too low, so it made me feel like it just strained my lower back. It was uncomfortable to wear, and I felt like it it made me have like poor posture and it was really uncomfortable. So I was worried that like maybe I just don't want to wear a weighted vest, but I tried again. So I returned that one. Actually, I gave that one to my husband and then I bought this one, which fits me perfectly. The first week that I started wearing it, I noticed that it felt super heavy. Like I was like, is this even too heavy? Like, should I go down and wait? Because I just kind of, I wanted to get it off me as quickly as possible. I remember the first week that I wore it, I didn't even go on a walk. I just was wearing it around the house. And I was like, okay, has it been 30 minutes? Like, can I take this thing off? And it was really hard at first. It felt heavy. It felt like almost like a strain on my whole system. And then when I would take it off, I felt like I could fly. Like I felt so light and free. By week 2, I started wearing it on a walk. So I like to take an hour-long walk every day outside at a pretty good clip. Like I'm short, but this girl can walk fast. At least, I mean, I walk with all my friends and I'm always like, how am I the shortest one here and I'm walking faster than all of you? Like there are some techniques to walking faster. And if that's something you would like for me to teach you or cover in an upcoming episode, let me know because I would love to do that. Because you do want to regularly increase the intensity of your walks, especially if you're trying to improve your health. That means we can't hit a plateau. And if we're doing the same thing all the time, we're going to hit a plateau. So you got to do something. You got to either add a walking vest or you add a walking vest and you learn to walk faster. Or maybe if you're walking on an incline, there's lots of different ways that we can increase the intensity of our walks. So second week when I started wearing it on my walks, I went out to do my 1-hour walk and I was like, notice I was walking so much slower. And to be honest, I didn't enjoy it that much. So by week 3, I realized, hey, maybe I just wear this around the house and just try to extend it by maybe like 10 minutes each time I wear it. And I started wearing it like 3-4 times a week. That's all. And I would wear it while I'm like walking through the house, running errands, brushing my teeth, maybe doing research, standing up at my working desk. I would wear it just, doing like little things you do around the house. You know what I'm talking about? Like we just do. And of course, I'm trying not to sit. I'm trying to spend a lot more time standing and not sitting. So the vest was a great reminder. That really felt great. And it helped me to get used to the weight of the vest. Then it started to feel like a hug. It started to feel like I started finding myself thinking about like, oh, I want to put my vest on. Oh, where's my weighted vest, right? So I started looking forward to it. Then I started using it on my shorter walks. So the negative thing I will say about my weighted vest is that I don't enjoy doing a long walk with it yet, but I'm working up to that. So what I'm doing right now is kind of backtracking and working my way up to that. So I will do a long walk in the morning, like usually an hour. And that's when I'm really like, I'm trying to go for speed. I love listening to a podcast and I just really wanted to enjoy it. I didn't want it to feel like work. And then a couple times a week when my husband and I take a leisurely walk after dinner, which is one of our regular habits, we both put on our weighted vests and we walk slower and it's more enjoyable. And I'm not thinking about like, oh, I got to go fast. I'm not thinking about like, I got to listen to my podcast or whatever. I'm just like, I'm enjoying it. And I feel like the vest, it pulls my shoulders back. So it improves my posture. I notice it has really improved my husband's posture. And I know that I'm burning more calories when I'm wearing it. So in terms of the 30-day experience with wearing a weighted vest, I will say that it's taken me some time to fall in love with it. So I want to recommend to you to not overdo it at first. Like just wear it for like 10 or 15 minutes inside your house until you start to get used to it, and then wear it for a little bit longer. If you are a woman who getting ready in the morning, just put it on over your robe or like while you're putting on your makeup, just while you're standing there to just get used to it. And then eventually work up to taking it with you while you're walking. And eventually you may be able to increase the duration of your walk, the speed of your walk, and perhaps even the weight of your vest. When it comes to shopping for a weighted vest, there's vests like this which go around your shoulders, right? And the buckle is across your chest. Then there's also the vests that the way that you wear them, it's like the weighted part of the vest is in the middle of your chest. So your breasts go on the outside I don't find those very comfortable. I think a man made that vest. I don't know very many women who like that kind of vest, but maybe you do, especially if, like, you're more flat chested. Maybe that's more comfortable for you. And the third type of weighted vest is an adjustable vest. Now, I love the look of these because you literally look like you're carrying ammunition across your body. I think that's pretty cool. However, and I think the idea behind these is great. So they have these little 1 pound inserts you can put in the vest. You could literally start with a vest that weighs 2 pounds and it goes all the way up to, say, 35 pounds. So then you're just buying one vest. And as you get stronger, you just add the little ammo packs back into your vest. Now, that would seem like a really cost-effective solution. However, these vests are much more expensive and frankly, they're a lot bigger, right? So, I mean, it's going to cover your entire body. And here's what you need to keep in mind. The more that vest covers of your body, the more you're going to be sweating. I mean, like when I wear this, I sweat like 5 times more when I'm on a walk than when I do without it. So that leads me to the next tip that I have for you is like, how do you wash these? Well, I don't think that I would put it in the washing machine. What I do is I just, when it gets like really gross and sweaty, I just stick it in my shower and put some soap on it and rinse it down and let it air dry. I should probably look and see if that's even proper care instructions. I don't know. But the bottom line is they are going to get sweaty. So I would recommend you get a black one. I know they've got like really cute pink ones and purple ones and all the different colors, but I think black just matches most things and it's not going to show your sweat stains or self-tanner, or if you're just a messy person like me, I think black is the way to go. I really also like that they have these reflective straps on them, the one that I'm wearing. And this one also has a kind of a cool little pouch in the back, which allows you to put like a key or maybe even your cell phone if you want. If there's something else you need to put, you can put in that little pouch in the back, which is kind of nice. But in general, I do think it's about figuring out what fits you the best. And I personally would recommend you just start like where you think you are and be on the lighter end, and just know that as you get stronger, you can give that vest to one of your dear friends. And when you're ready to move up and go to a heavier vest, that just means you're getting even stronger. So overall, my experience is extremely positive, and I highly recommend you start using a weighted vest. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a non-financial tip by dropping a comment below and saying, "That was really great, Chalene. I appreciate it. And guess what? I'm also subscribed." Yeah, because you know this? Like recently I checked and over 70% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. Why? It's free. I don't get it. Just subscribe already. I love you. I mean it. And I'll talk to you soon. Why? I don't like this side of my hair. Is it that? Yeah, let's spray that right into place. Hold on. Stay. See, it's cotton candy hair. Oh, battery's dying. So let me get us plugged in so we don't lose that.